Jeep Chronicles Real Estate Edition. Here's why I joined eXp, and it's not at all what you think. I was with three local brokerages, I think within 2 years of joining. My third brokerage actually brought me over, and I came over kicking and screaming. And why do I say that? I knew nothing about club-based brokerages. The normal at that time was to be with a local boutique brokerage and do your real estate because you're doing it in your market. But what I knew in my mind at the time was that I was going to become a principal broker because that's the standard. That's you have to be in real estate for 3 years minimum. There's no transaction limit. Then you go back to school to get your principal broker's license and then you open your own brokerage. What I didn't know though at the time until I started doing research on that was the cost, the overhead cost, the cost that it takes to not only have the building, not only pay the electric bill, not only provide all of the tools that it takes. So I knew I had to put some money in the pocket because not only and I always like to think big and don't tell me no, but I wanted to because I'm not from Oregon. I moved here, I relocated here over a decade ago, and I wanted my brokerage to be bigger than just local because I'm from Nevada. So I want to have real estate back where I'm from too and just not be limited. Here's the great part, and here's what I've learned over the years. You can have all of that without the overhead cost, and it's in a cloud-based brokerage because you can be licensed in more than one state and still pay one fee. The only extra fee that you pay is for the MLS there because we all have to pay for an MLS for where our listings and how to search for properties that way. But I don't have all the overhead costs, like the ability to have some kind of file management. In eXp, we have our Sky Slope, our ability to connect with other realtors, because that's part of owning a brokerage is so that you have other agents to refer business to. Because I'm a relocation expert. Not only am I certified in it with all the trainings, but I did it. I actually relocated out of state, not just across town, because in Nevada, in my hometown, Carson City, I, moved across town back and forth within the city, but I left in my early 40s. So I lived my whole life there. And then I moved to Oregon, originally moved to Oregon to Astoria, Warrenton. I'm licensed in the state of Oregon, so I can practice real estate anywhere in the state of Oregon. But I mainly practice here in Coos County because after moving to Astoria, Warrenton, I then, 1 year, almost 1 year to the day, it was one day before, but almost 1 year to the day of moving up there, I then relocated or moved to Coos Bay, North Bend, Oregon. After I moved here, I became a realtor here 9 years, so 9 years ago. So I moved here over a decade ago and then became a local realtor. So I started and have maintained my real estate career here in Oregon, but I know so much about Nevada because I'm born and raised there, and I lived there for 40 years, almost 40 years, 40 years. So, but the overhead for eXp is you don't have to you can get an office if you want to, which I might do that when I establish in Nevada just to have a central location for everybody to go to when they need an office. But in general, you don't have all of those overhead costs. And the $85 a month. So that was the main reason that I moved from my local brokerage over when they introduced me to eXp. Because again, remember, I came over kicking and like literally kicking and screaming because I didn't understand the concept. All I knew in my head was that I wanted to do real estate and eventually I wanted to become a principal broker so then I can do my own company. Fast forward a year after becoming a eXp agent, because my first year in eXp, I wasn't going to stay. I was here because the initial reason I came over from that brokerage was because at the time I was paying $200 a month in floor fees and I wasn't getting anything out of it. I didn't get my own website. I didn't get the CRM. There was nothing. And at the time too, no no train. So $200, and then I had to travel over a half an hour to go to an office where I had to sit and answer phones for somebody else, or $85 a month, and I could be wherever I wanted to be because there's no requirements, there's no floor time unless you do your own office space, but even then you don't have to, there's no requirements. So it's flexible in that idea, but the $85 technology fee, not only do I get my own website, I get my own lead generation system, I get my own CRM. We have SkySlope so we can upload all of our files. I still keep a hard copy file because being in medical billing for 20 years, I'm old school Gen Xer. I believe in files, but also because it's cloud based and our state brokerage keeps track of everything through the IT system, which is great. But that's the main reason I came over, was I was saving from $200 to $85. And the person that was trying to move us over was stocks. Yes, we have stocks. Yes, you get to be part owner of the company. Yes, you get to buy into the stocks at 5% when you opt in. My dumbass didn't opt in. opted I opted out my first year because, again, my mentality was I wasn't staying with this company. I hadn't done enough research, and the whole system was not explained to me. It was just stocks. And maybe they presented more, but I wasn't mentally in it to even pay attention. I didn't care. The only thing I cared about, which is crazy looking back, because technically, I mean, we're doing contracts, and I didn't read my brokerage contract to even know what my split was until after I learned about eXp and the splits there. And then I went and looked at my brokerage contract, and I'm like, wow, even on the splits, I'm still making more. Because at the end of the day, we're all worried about, like, we all work to make money. This isn't a volunteer job. We're all here to make a paycheck. And I have learned and watched over and over again how people say, oh, I'm doing it for the mentor, or I'm doing it for the training, or I'm doing it for the camaraderie of the people. But at the end of the day, when you get your paycheck and you look at your paycheck and you're like, what am I paying all these fees for? Yeah, what are you paying all the fees for? What are you getting from paying the fees? Because your brokerage is also your business partner. You're paying them to get something back, because we're all independent contractors. So what are you getting back from your brokerage? Never even thought about that stuff. And I had been in the business 3 years, and it was my third brokerage. And don't get me wrong, I love my principal broker. Love. And I am actually really grateful to her for introducing me to eXp, because I don't know, had she not introduced me, I don't either know that I ever would, or that it would have taken me a lot longer, because the sponsor I have now, the business partners I have now, I have followed on social media for a long time, for years, before I even made the jump over to switch partners. But in the very beginning, how I ended up here is not, and I even think back on, wow, I was really meant, and I literally told everybody, I'm not staying here. Don't get excited. This is just so that I can do real estate my way, because I wanted flexibility. I didn't want to go sit in, and I got so tired of walking into an office that I'm like, the phone rings, I'm now required to answer it. If somebody walks in the front door, 99.9% of the time, it's nobody for me. It's for another agent, or it's another agent dropping off or picking up a check. Or in all of my years of being at a local brokerage, I only got one lead. And the only way that I closed that lead is on my own. There was no training behind it. In fact, I lost 2 listings at my very first brokerage for lack of training and for competition, because, yeah, that's a whole nother video. But in how I joined eXp, and it's crazy funny how headstrong I was at getting out of it. Man, let me tell you, I told everybody, okay, I'm over at eXp now. Don't be afraid. Do not be afraid to hop and jump, because what you think you might be getting. So what I was told I was going to get, and I was actually working, because I'm a certified mentor, part of becoming a team leader in eXp2 is you have to get certified as a mentor because you're mentoring agents. Part of being a mentor, I was mentoring an agent that was out of my area. She was in Eugene. I'm here in Coos Bay, so we're about 2.5 hour difference. When I asked her why she joined a local team, she said, because I was promised good leads. And when you don't know how to fish for your food, a local team's a good idea. But here's the thing I want to express is I would go to, if it were me, what I've learned over the years is I would go talk to the newest agents that are with that team, whoever's been the newest agent. So when I joined my third brokerage, I was the brand new agent, and the newest agent had only been there 1 year. And then everybody else behind him had been there for years and years, and they were diehard loyal fans of the agency, which is great. But I talked to that one agent, but he was driving from up north down to that office because of the requirement for floor time, an hour and a half every day, one way. One way. Oh, hell no. Hell to the no, no, no. What's that song? No, no, no. I don't believe in floor time because I didn't spend this money and come into this business to be a glorified secretary. I'm just not doing it. Most offices now have admin assistants, and even the offices that I went into had admin assistants, but their requirement is not necessarily to answer those phones. They want the newer agents to do it. Plus, a lot of the requirement too as a newer agent was to cover floor time, cover desk time. So if somebody walks in that front door, you're there to take that lead. Well, 99% of the time, they weren't even leads. So no, hell no. So much flexibility with eXp. But again, I was so headstrong on not staying that I was checked out mentally until I had my aha moments. And when you see them, you can't unsee them. And we have so much support. And of course, there's growing pains with any growing company. Back then, when I first started 6 years ago, the company wasn't overly set up to be good at onboarding and welcoming new agents. Now we're phenomenal. And the cooler part too is with because you can pick any agent that wants to be a sponsor or wants to be a business partner. You can pick any agent. I think we have over 90,000 agents in eXp and we're international. You can pick any one of them to be your sponsor. You do not have to pick somebody that's in your area. You can if you want to, and we have co-sponsorship. So if you want the benefits of both people, like let's say you have Aunt Carol down the street that wants you to join her local team, and she wants you to be on her team, but then you also want to join Susie Q over in the next state over or in across the water, you can do that because we have co-sponsorship. Just understand, because this was not told to me. Once you're in, you're stuck with those business partners. So, like the agent that I menteed in Eugene, that those promises didn't get fulfilled, they didn't get what they wanted really out of that team, and they ended up having to leave eXp because when you're in, you're in. And in order to get out, you have to be out as of right now 1 year and 1 day. When I looked at getting out of mine, because I didn't want my sponsor that I signed up with originally, I would have had to been out of eXp for 6 months and 1 day. Now they've bumped it up to a year and 1 day. So I caution people, be very certain who you pick as your, I call a business partner. The technical word for it is sponsor, but man, yeah, the things that we offer, just so that you know, just a few of the things that we offer, if you want to consider us for your business partner, is not only do we have a fantastic upline, oh my gosh, our fantastic upline, but I offer so much as a 9 year agent and growing, and I do it this full time. And we have three business partners, one here in Coos Bay, one in Reedsport, and one that's in Washington and Oregon. She's dual licensed, and we're still growing because I love the fact that we can refer to our business partners. That's part of growing. That's part of why we do what we do. Amazing people, but you're not limited. You're not in this little box. the sky's the limit. Like there's so much flexibility in this business and in this organization that I love. So that's why I got in. If you're considering EXP, whether you're a brand new agent or you're a seasonal agent and you're making big bucks, but your paycheck isn't the greatest, and maybe you're not getting like, even if you get a cap, do you get it back? Do you get it back in company stocks? Do you get a discount on your stocks? Does the company just pay you for doing business without you even trying? Like, there's so many things, but I wanted to let you know that's why I joined EXP, and that's why I stay. That's my story. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. I'm Macy McCurdy-Jones with eXp Realty here on the Southern Oregon coast, here in Coos County, Oregon. And if you're an agent watching this and you want a good referral partner because you have somebody moving to Coos County, Oregon, I'm your girl. Thanks for listening.